and welcome back to How to Buy a Car with myself, Churtis, and brought to you by Bosch on the Cars.co.za YouTube channel. This is an episode about the 2021 Polo GTI. Now, the GTI nameplate, very popular in South Africa. Many of you, I'm sure, our beloved audience, very much looking at a second-hand GTI. So, common problems, how to test drive, what to listen out for, what you can see with the naked eye, what you can see if you get under the car, parts pricing from Bosch, parts pricing from OEM, service pricing from Bosch, service pricing from OEM. Let's go. Let's help you decide how to buy a Polo GTI. Excellent English. Let's help you buy a Polo GTI. Sean, what am I trying to say? Let's help them. Let's help us. We're going to help each other. I feel this is helpful.
If you want to know how to buy a GTI, just take her out.
What he said.
There we go.
Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
Right, the Polo GTI. When you're shopping, it's important to remember that there have been 3 generations of Polo GTI, spanning the last 3 generations of Polos. So, actually, no, I think it might be 4, Sean. Well, 3 with a facelift, I think. So, you had the 1.4 litre twin-charged engine, which means it was super and turbocharged. Also, absolute box, do not go anywhere near it. Secondly, you then had the 1.8, much better engine, nice and fast, also quite like the look of that car. And then Volkswagen, in their wisdom, was like, let's just use the Golf GTI engine and detune it. And so the E8888, one of the evolutions, I'm not particularly sure, I think this might be Evo 3, is the one you'll find in this car. Now, the thing about buying a used GTI is there's nothing with a GTI badge on the back that has lived a soft life. Let's be honest with ourselves. Would you go buy a GTI as a first-time owner and drive it like your dear nonna, in my case, my grandmother? No, you wouldn't. You're going to enjoy it. So, do not fool yourself that you're going to buy a GTI that has lived a soft life. Maybe 1 in every 100 was, just driven not like you would drive a GTI. Let's all be upfront with ourselves. Right, one of my favorite portions of the video, favorite segments, how to test drive. Now, I've driven a lot of old cars, and you develop old car hearing, which is very good for picking up faults. And I'm delighted to be joined by a man with exceptional old car and new car hearing. His name is Barry Bones. How are you, Barry? Workshop manager at N1 Kohler City.
I'm well, and yourself?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about general things to listen out for or look out for on a test drive, and then we'll talk about things maybe specific to Polo. So I want to quickly get started with wear and tear. Interior, really good.
Still in very neat condition.
Very
well looked
good,
after.
Yeah. Even the steering wheel feels like genuine leather, which is nice because it's pleather often these days, or it's plastic.
It hasn't got any discoloration either.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's actually in really nice condition. The only place you see a bit of wear and tear, it seems like the previous knob handler had a ring. So you got some ring scuff happening over there. It's just on the top of the knob. Think you can replace that maybe? It's a new knob probably.
That's probably, yeah.
So, generally speaking, on a test drive, you want to look for warning lights.
Warning lights is your first indication, yes, most obvious.
Looking for coolant is a big one.
Yeah, so you want to watch your coolant temps. This car also has a oil temperature gauge, so that's also a nice one to watch. You also get a warning on the dash to warn you about the coolant that's low. Obviously, asking you to stop the vehicle, and also signs vehicle will overheat.
Okay. And what could be the causes of low coolant in a vehicle like this?
2 common issues on the Polo GTI specifically would either be the water pump or the coolant bottle itself.
But water pump, that's a big one.
That is the costly one, yes.
Yeah. Can you get that as a generic part or is it
yes.
OEM? You can.
You can get OEM or generic.
Obviously, check engine light, big one.
Check engine light.
Thankfully, we're not seeing that.
Yeah. So the minute the check engine light's on, you definitely want to get an OBD scan done on it. Obviously, there's too many variables. You can't just guess what it is. It could be something minor, or something big, but you would like to have a look at it.
Okay. All right. So what I like to do on a front-wheel drive car is a sort of a health check on the CVTs and everything. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you do a little, if we put it in sport mode here, and then, now I would normally go traction control off and see if there's anything, but let's just see. A little bit of slip. Seemed good to me, yeah?
Seems good.
Fine,
No abnormal noises here.
Yeah, nothing abnormal there. What I also like to do is take a car to the red line, just so that you don't see any rattling at the top. Let's see. Yeah. No, that's pulling nicely.
Sounds good.
Yeah, healthy, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Nice and
that's a
clean.
nice, healthy engine, revving nice and cleanly. We've got 66 on the clock here. In a 5-year-old car, it actually hasn't been used too much. Eh?
No, that's
Very
definitely
low mileage, yeah?
to work and back.
Yeah. So a decent test drive. I'm pretty impressed. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
How's your Batman old car hearing? New car
Not
hearing?
picking up anything strange or out of the ordinary, so seems good.
Okay, good. All right, to the workshop.
To the workshop.
To
we
the
go.
workshop. There we go. Right, Barry, we are now going under the bonnet for an adventure. 20,000 leagues under the bonnet. Just made that up now. Okay, let's look at some common points of failure. One of the things I picked up on the test drive here is that as the starter, as it engages on the auto stop start, there's a little bit of, not a hesitancy there, but doesn't feel like it's engaging quite correctly. Did you pick that up as well?
So
Yeah.
we did pick that up on the test drive, but
Yeah.
it could be a number of factors. It could be a battery on its way out, or it could be a starter that's now just starting to show signs of wear. Obviously, these cars do use their starter a lot more than a conventional car.
Yeah. So let's talk about that battery, right? You guys would do a battery health check.
Yes.
If you, in terms of maintaining this vehicle, it's an AGM,
Yes.
which is a special gel battery that you need for stop-start engines. So it's more of a deep cycle battery kind of
Yes.
thing. So now, would you recommend, how long does that battery last?
So AGM generally with stop-start, you're looking between 3 and 5 years, depending on also how the car is used. So if you're not using the car as often, doing short drives, this takes its toll on the battery, it then can shorten the lifespan as well.
So 3 to 5 years of 2021, so battery should probably go, hey?
Probably.
So you guys will do a battery health check, which we've shown before, and then you might say, you show me the reading, and you might say, okay, time for a new battery.
Yes.
Now, as I understand it, water pump here is now plastic.
That is correct.
Previous engines, it wasn't, it would have been.
Aluminium
Aluminium
or
or
anything
something.
like that, yeah.
So now your water pump is subject to heat cycles
Yes.
and the expansion and contraction. So if we brought this into you, where do we have a look at the water pump? Where will we find it?
This particular water pump sits under the intake manifold. It is a bit of a tricky one to look
Under
at.
the intake manifold.
Yeah.
So is that under here?
So we remove
Let's
the
take a
cover.
look, yeah.
So it will be located in under here.
So does
to,
the intake manifold have to come off?
to the water pump, we remove the intake manifold as well.
Gosh, then that puts your labor costs up, eh?
Yes. So besides the part being very expensive, generic and aftermarket,
Yeah.
because it is a water pump and thermostat all in one housing, it does push the cost up.
Okay.
on it.
So now you would be able to source that part and replace it?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Okay, so water pump, something to look out for. Barry, something I do know about these engines is a oil supply issue somewhere there.
Yes. So some of these engines, they do suffer from oil supply issues. It is due to lack of maintenance and things. But an easy way you can pick this up when checking the vehicle out is it has two pressure sensors located on the oil filter. One is brown, one is blue. So you'll see one is a high pressure and one is a low pressure. So what people do tend to do is they switch it out to make two low pressure, so it doesn't give you the warning on the dash.
But essentially you want to see one brown, one blue over there,
Yeah.
and it's very easy to see, guys. You can just see it right there. So if you see two, basically if you see two of the same color, major warning sign.
Red flag,
That-
walk away.
Red flag, eh? Literally walk away.
Yeah.
Eh? Does that mean, are you saying that essentially the engine has been starved of oil at some point?
It's difficult to say how long it has been running like that, but
Yeah.
it could be that it has starved oil. You don't know what the internal damage is, and I mean, you don't want to find that while they're owning the
Jeez,
car.
That could be catastrophic. Eh? So things you can see with the naked eye when you do your under bonnet inspection of this car, right? This is quite an interesting part here. So what's happening there?
So this is your coolant reservoir. This holds your engine coolant.
And that sensor, from what I understand, from what I've heard, is quite an interesting potential issue.
It is. We have seen cases where it leaks. It leaks past its mold, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with that sensor, it is incorporated into the bottle, so you need to replace the complete bottle.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You have to replace the entire thing.
Yeah. Does not come loose.
God, that's the most German thing I've ever heard. So the sensor is like welded and built into this bottle. Is this the same problem on an Audi, for instance?
Audis have a very similar bottle.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Other things you can just quickly check with your naked eye when you do an inspection.
So
the health of the belt.
your multi-V belt, you're looking for any signs of cracks or frays or anything on it.
Okay.
Obviously that will be the most important one that you want to do is you check your condition of your oil.
Can you show us how to do that quick?
So just by removing the dipstick,
Yeah.
we can see that the oil is still golden. It's not black or anything, which will then be showing signs of sludge. So it will tell you that the engine has been well looked after.
So gold is like a fully synthetic, eh? It's
Yeah.
usually gold. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a nice gold color.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to get this, what are these engine thingies called in the trade? They're like the clip-on thingy. Is it called like the don't touch underneath here cover? Yeah. So this thing here, let's call it your engine cover. You always want to clip that off on a test drive, right? Now, you showed us where the water pump was. Can we see that from underneath, or is it just one of those things that needs to be, because you need to pull off what is a plastic intake manifold, which is quite interesting. And that is a particular point of failure, right? Now, is there any way I can see that with the layman's eyes with my naked?
So the quickest way to see a water pump leaking is going to be your coolant level dropping.
Okay.
Unfortunately, from the bottom you can't see it. It has got undercover protection, so you're not going to be able to see it, but you'll see it drop on the floor or the level.
Okay. Now, Polo headlights, especially in the northern provinces, are very famous for their ability to disappear, vanish.
Yeah.
So, however, that's not your only problem, right?
No.
With these new fancy headlights, which are also self-leveling and all the rest of it, and you've got fancy LEDs at the bottom, take us through what you do here if something goes wrong or if they get flooded or something like that.
So the unfortunate part of having these fancy headlights is if a bulb does or the light stops working, there's no replacing a bulb. It's replacing the complete.
Just like
not like in the olden days we take a bulb out, put a new bulb in. Let's replace the complete unit.
and only from the OEMs.
OEM, and then it needs to be programmed as well.
Oh, that's fun. Can you program it?
So yes, we
can
can do the
program.
basic coding of it and
Okay.
get it running again.
We'll put those labor screens on, labor parts, labor, what is it called? Labor costs. Thanks, Sean. We'll put those labor costs on the screen for you. So what are you looking at, let's say, for a fog light?
So if memory serves me right, the last time we did get a cost on a fog light, on a Polo LED daytime running light, it was about $7,000 from the agents.
So if you go for a test drive and one of the fog lights is out, 7K, excluding fitment and labor
Yes.
and recoding.
That was just part alone.
So not only is it not a light bulb, it has to be programmed.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay, right, next step. Sean, up on a lift. Personally, I'm going to share something that I think is very important with you. So whenever I buy a car, I always ask the dealer, can I please do a pre-purchase inspection at a workshop that I trust? And I think getting under a car is invaluable. Now, to be clear, the dealer does not have anything legal. There's no onus on the dealer to allow you to do this. However, in my opinion, it's invaluable, and if the dealer doesn't want you to do it, then there's maybe something to consider there about moving ahead with the purchase. But now we're under the car here, and Barry's going to show us a few key things that you can look for.
So the first thing, obviously, that everybody knows to check, tire condition.
Yeah.
Make sure your tires are expensive nowadays. You want to make sure that your tires still have good tread left on it. Secondly, your brake pads and your brake discs, what condition are they? Are they not burnt? They haven't got ridges or worn that will need to be
That
replaced.
you can kind of see from the outside.
That you can see from the outside.
Okay.
Things from under the vehicle is more your suspension components, your shocks. You don't make sure they're not leaking any fluid.
Okay.
Your stabilizer bar, your lower control arm, tie rod and stuff. You just want to make sure your ball joint condition boots, they all not leaking any grease or
Okay, because
The signs
here
of work.
on front-wheel drive cars, especially with lots of power, CV joint issues potentially.
CV. So
yeah,
CV boot, you want to check the CV boots have no cracks in it, that they also have no excessive play on the shafts as well.
okay. How would I look to see, and where would I look for perhaps some damage? There's signs of repair.
Look, the easiest part would be obviously you'll see a lot of tool marks. So
On the bolt.
on the bolt heads itself. Now pertaining to some subframe and things like that, that is where you'll be looking, not on your normal suspension components that have been worked on. But I mean, subframe is the biggest giveaway to see if it has shifted on the bolt head or not.
So what are we looking at here? So maybe if you saw new bolts here, it would be a bit
So
of a-
yeah, so what we do
Yeah.
tend to find on the cars, we'll see one side has all new suspension, the other side is old. This is a clear indication.
Yeah, there we go. So if you see, and maybe mismatching shocks,
Yeah.
for instance.
Why is it two different shocks?
Newer springs,
Newer
everything's a bit
yeah.
cleaner maybe on the side.
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Should we take a little walk down the car?
Yeah.
All right, so just some general stuff.
Next thing we're looking at, exhaust. Make sure that the exhaust has no leaks in it, that there's no aftermarket pipes, even especially if you want your car standard. A lot of the higher performance cars you'll find have aftermarket exhaust and stuff on. So
That's
you-
a cat there, eh?
yeah, so
Okay.
these
So
things are
check the
very
cat.
expensive to replace. If you and some roadworthy centers will actually fail you if you haven't got it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
it's looking
so-
quite good under here, eh?
Yeah.
To my casual eye, to my
So you want to check there's no scratches that have driven over curbs or anything
Yeah.
on the plates. And then the next part will be our fuel tank. We don't see any wetness around, which means there's no leaks or anything on our fuel tank. And then at
Got
the
no rear diff here, obviously.
no rear diff, as we are front wheel drive. At the back, we're just looking at the shocks, the springs, your brakes condition, tires.
Okay.
And then also you can just feel on the exhaust to make sure that all the hangers, that it's not floating too much.
Okay. It must float a little bit.
But not too
Yeah,
much, then you
mustn't
know
move
obviously
too
there's
much,
some hangers missing or broken.
Okay. And then wheel lining is also a bit of a giveaway because
Yeah.
often the wheel lining is not refitted perfectly.
So
as
either
well.
damaged, not fitted properly, or you'll see
Yeah.
one's new, one's old
Okay.
giveaways.
So there we go. It does really show you how valuable getting under the car is. I suppose for the most part, getting under a car is the easiest and best way to see if there's been an incident.
Yes,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely.
Interesting. Okay. Amazing. Thank you, Barry.
Pleasure.
Right. More coffee. Okay, Barry, I'm going to give you two situations. I've just bought this car.
Okay.
Now, the service books have come along with it, and I know when the last service was. So, in that case, take me through what would happen, and then I'm going to throw another thing at you. I don't have a service book. The dealer doesn't have it. Maybe the previous owner lost it, or maybe he just didn't want to give it over, so he lost it, right? Then what happens?
Okay, so scenario one, if you do have your service book, you know the service history of the vehicle. When you inquire with us, you will tell us, look, I need the 120,000 service or the 80,000 service, whichever one. Our system is then set up to give you OEM guided service schedule that we then follow. We can do all the checks and then we can quote you accordingly. If you haven't got your service book, we do what we call a condition-based service check. We will then go through all the filters, all your service items, check and then quote accordingly on what is needed.
And that's all on there. Hey?
All on us.
Should we take a quick look? Okay, Barry, so we're going with scenario 2, condition-based service. So now we want a customer estimate.
Yes.
Does your system know what the car needs?
So depending on the mileage of the car that's you're coming in for the service, we can pull up a service schedule for that mileage. So the next one would be 75 according to the system.
Okay.
So from that I can create your estimate.
And in your condition-based service, well, you've done now a health check.
Yeah.
So in your estimation, car needs a major service.
Major service,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. This is not on this particular car. I should just say that we are using the car as a placeholder. Okay. This car does have a full service history from the dealer.
So
Alright.
now we print the estimate.
Cool. Okay. This is going to pop out here, right?
Yes.
Look at that. It's on the ball here. Me, Barry's always on the ball. Okay. Let's go. Okay, we've come to a major service price of 5,140 Rand. Now, Barry, let's just take a quick look here. So, we're looking at full oil replacement, right?
Yes.
So, we are looking at, for a major service, cabin filter, 104, air filter 149, spark plugs, there's 4 of them, and your service labor here, what does 26 mean?
So service labor 26 means obviously that is the time that we allocate to the vehicle that we
26
spend.
hours?
So that in our system will be 2.6 hours.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
2.5
Oh, I
hours
see.
essentially.
So now, let's say you now have printed this out, right? Now, if I'm a customer, I wouldn't be back here,
Yeah.
right? I would be dealing with obviously lovely Kellyanne and Kylie. Would they then send something like this to me?
Yeah. So if you are walking, you will get the printout, the hard copy printout. However, if you do call in, we can also send it to you via email or WhatsApp, and
WhatsApp.
you can then make your booking online as well.
So you send me a WhatsApp link. You don't send me this, right? You send me a link.
A link where you will get the quote, and then from there you can give us the go ahead where we will then make the booking and we will load it on the system.
Geez, that is really fancy. Hey? This is the modern age of servicing your vehicle. Okay, so I think this shows that a fantastic way to keep your car in good health, but also to make sure the car you've just bought is in good running health for the next. Because so we got 75, and then the next one is at 120.
So it will be 75, and then the next one will be at 90.
At 90. Okay, and that's another major service.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that would be a
Minor.
intermediate service. Yeah.
Intermediate. Okay, interesting. And that would obviously be less than
Yes.
less parts. Okay, brilliant. Wow, I have learned so much today. I really have. Thank you very much, Barry.
Pleasure.
Appreciate your time. And I think there's some excellent advice there. There really is. I would say my gut feel and my advice to everyone watching would be, if you've just bought a car, bring it here. It's worth the time, worth the labor. I mean, if I just brought this car into you and I said, Barry, just give it a once over for me. What am I looking at sort of ballpark rand wise? Just to make just a health check.
Look, a normal health check, I think we charge about 805 under correction.
805.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that will be then we'll just do a basic diagnostic test for you and just a general overview of your car, and we can give you a full report.
Battery health, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. $805, guys. For peace of mind, it's a no-brainer.
Did you do a goodbye and thank you with Barry in the car?
No.
Okay, give me a goodbye and thank you.
Okay. Goodbye and thank you. Absolutely lovely spending some time with you today and all the wonderful people at N1 Kohler Motors, N1 City Bosch. You need anything to do with any car, they are your people. And of course, Bosch has a massive network of service centers across South Africa. There's a whole bunch in the Western Cape. N1 Kohler actually I think has 6 or something like that. And remember, Cars.co.za is so much more than just a YouTube channel where I talk nonsense for a living. 237 Polos are amongst the 75 odd thousand vehicle listings on our site and on our app. This particular one is a very low mileage example, 2021. It's on sale at SMG BMW Century City, where it was traded in. It's on their second-hand floor at 420,000. Very, very reasonable price and in excellent condition. Big thank you to them for lending it to us for this video. Thanks very much for watching. We'd love it if you liked and subscribed. We're getting very, very, very close to 500,000 subscribers, so we'd love it if you were part of our journey.
Let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za.
Hello, you join me and my Fern in the Cars.co.za Cape Town office, where I have been asked to tell you about our new quick search feature in our app. Now, if you don't have our app, it's been downloaded by over 2 million South Africans, completely free. It's in any app store that you use. Go ahead and get it right now. And we've just launched a very cool new feature. It's a first in South Africa. So it's basically plain English search. And this is how it works. You open the app and in the quick search bar, you just type what you're looking for. So BMW X3 Silver Gauteng, and then bang, hit, I've misspelled Gauteng. Then hit search and we pre-populate all those filters for you so you don't have to fiddle, and then you get, of all the 72,000 cars on our site, all the silver X3s in Gauteng for you to choose from. That's actually quite clever. I didn't know it could do that. Should probably read my emails sometimes.
Let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za.